Hi guys, and welcome to Rathwulven Bushcraft. Today I want to talk about my personal all-time carry medkit, kind of like an EDC medkit if you want to call it like so. And I'm just going to run through the items that I carry with me and why they are important for me. Again, this is just my personal medkit. If you want to learn how I do that, just watch the video. Maybe you learn something from that. Off we go. Alrighty, why is first aid so important and why do we need to carry a pack like this at all time? Simply spoken, accidents do happen and they do happen all the time. If somebody's telling you that he or she never had any accident, never had a cut, never had a wooden splinter or so, that person is probably lying, because if we're out in nature and we're doing our thing, bushcrafting, things do happen. So it's always good to carry a medkit. The reason why I have chose this kind of bag is pretty simple. If you can see here, it basically can be attached to your belt with Velcro. The important thing about this is that if I put it right here, I can also pull it off like so without ripping off my belt or ripping out some of the pack, because as you can see, this is just a strip of Velcro and it's easily opened. This is important then in cases in which I'm out there on my own and let's say I get injured, I just can't, work around here and just try to get out the equipment or the band-aids or the tweezers or whatever I need, but I just need to get it off and be able to work like this. Another reason why I chose this pack is because it's red. I know that many people out there go for the tactical variety in olive green, and I personally don't see the extra value in this. No offense, but if I'm looking for my medkit, I want to spot it easily. So just if you take a look right here, easy to spot, right? If this would be in whatever kind of camo pattern or would come in olive green and it would just blend into whatever kind of landscape I'm in, I might have trouble finding this, especially if I get injured and I'm panicking, and also that does happen to people. A third reason why I'm carrying this is because it's a very simple pack. Everybody could use this even without expertise, and I will show you why in a second. There's a couple of things in there that in my opinion are essentials. I would like to run through this right now. I'm just going to spread this out right here and then we talk about every item in detail, okay? Okay, so I'm carrying all of these items you see right here in this medkit. And as you can see, it's a rather elaborate medkit for such a tiny pack. And the contents are as follows. Here we have a couple of plasters, different varieties, from waterproof plasters to blister plasters to regular strips that I could cut with those scissors over there, just for smaller cuts or minor injuries, maybe scraping wounds and such. If you walk through the bush and you get into some kind of thorns like over there, there's some blackberry right here, and you just get injured, you can patch that up. Very simple stuff. Then here I also got a waterproof bag with a couple of compressors, or gauzes as they're called in English, and they're just used in combination with those band-aids right here. Also very simple stuff, just two small band-aids that can be used for medium type of injuries. So basically, if you get a knife cut and you start bleeding, you can patch yourself up with that. Nothing special. Then, also very important, a pair of disposable gloves. The reason being that if somebody else is injured and I already have tiny cuts from wood carving or so, that might be blood-to-blood contact. So I just want to make sure that I protect myself if I'm helping someone else. A lot of people tend to forget these, but they're really important because you really do not want blood exchange. For example, if you're out there like I'm once in a while and I'm giving courses or I'm having kind of coachings with people and I don't know these people personally and don't know anything about their health condition except from what they told me, it's always good to have them, just to have a boundary in between basically your bloodstream and their bloodstream in case there should be any risk of blood-to-blood contact. So just carry one of these, can do no harm. Space blanket should always be in there, not only because it is a makeshift shelter if you need to, but also because of shock. and also because of hypothermic reactions. First aid should also include anything that has to do with shock or with your body temperature. Not having one of these, in my opinion, is a big mistake, and it weighs nothing. As you can see, this is just like a piece of reflective metallish type of tissue, nothing else worth having. For the heavy injuries, I carry one of these. It's vacuum sealed, and this is called an Israeli band-aid. It's basically a pressure compressed kind of band-aid. What you do is you wrap this around the injured spot on your body, maybe your leg or your arm, and then you can tighten this up to basically press off the bloodstream. Maybe you can also see this here in the instructions right here. See? I carry this because I always work with a headshot, and it's important to have these things because if you hit your artery, for example in your inner thigh, you need to act quickly, and you have to make sure that you stop the bleeding for as much as it's possible up until professional help arrives. Then I always get a bit of medication. This is just a bit of ibuprofen, also paracetamol. There's also magnesia, which I have here too. The ibuprofen acts as an anti-inflammatory. The paracetamol is a painkiller and also good for headaches, for example. And the magnesia are for any types of gastrointestinal infections or diarrhea and such. Also, if you have stomach aches, you can use those just to get better. What I also do carry are 2 alcohol pads. I think those are the new ones that are alcohol free, but they're just sterilizing gauzes, so to speak. It's always good to have them if you quickly have to wipe off stuff, like injuries, or maybe even your gear, because you also need to sterilize this. Then talking about the gear. That pair of scissors is very handy for cutting your band-aid, or for the plasters, because I have those long plaster strips in there in which I can just take off a piece and apply them. The next important thing, medical tweezers. Not only because you can remove ticks with them and also splinters, but also because they can come in handy for a variety of different things. Let's say, for example, that for whatever reason you get a cut and there's dirt inside the cut and you really would have to go in there. Those are so tiny that you could remove whatever type of contaminant, splinter, plant material, maybe even glass. You never know what happens. You can just get that out with those tweezers. It's very handy. I also always carry safety pins. Never know what you might use them for. You can also use them for poking in your skin if you have to remove a splinter, for example. Then I always carry a mirror. This is just half of a cosmetic mirror, a makeup mirror, just broken off. Very simple thing, but it can be used for signaling, like so. It can be used for doing tick checks. And it can also be used if you have any type of eye injury. And people never think about this. Your eyes are really important because if you can't see, you simply cannot see. And that's a problem. But splinters or whatever kind of particles could always end up in your eyes. So it's good to have that in order to be able to remove any type of particle that might get onto your eyeball. So it's very, very important to have that. Yeah, what else? Bottle of betadine. It's basically a type of yodium. It's not regular yodium, but I don't know what the exact description was, but I would put it down. It even says here, povidone yodium. So that's basically not burning at all. If you apply this to a wound, it sterilizes your wounds. It can also be used for water purification, by the way. And it's just handy in general if you want to disinfect different types of gear, like the tweezers, for example, or if you have to clean a wound. Always important to carry this. It's priceless. And the last thing is basically just an instruction. For example, as you can see here, it's how to apply band-aids in different languages. What the procedure would be for reanimation and such. It's just important to have this because I am trained in that field. I have my first aid degrees from the Red Cross, and I'm also a certified BHV, which in the Netherlands is like a company medic, so to speak. Those that basically are to administer first aid if something happens in the company building. But this is just very, very basic medical understanding, so not at all comparable to any kind of work that doctors do, of course. And you know something if you got those degrees, but some people simply don't have the training at all, so they don't know what's going on. And this helps them. Let's say I'm injured, for example, and one person is also part of one of my courses, but this person doesn't know what to do and maybe panics. He or she could take out this instruction, have a look, and take the necessary steps. I know, it's all very basic. You could add a lot of items there, and if you think something should be added, please also post a comment below and let me know what your idea is. But just in general, this is something I always carry on my body because it's always good having. And there's a saying that says, better having than needing. This is what I would like to give to you as my personal view on first aid. Just the very basics. If you have something to share, if you have something to add, if you have something to criticize about this, please post a comment below. Otherwise, I hope you liked that video very much. And I thank you also very much for watching. Please make sure you subscribe. Give me a thumbs up if you like that. And up until then, I wish you a nice time outdoors. Stay safe, stay healthy, and have a great time. Bye bye.